In a small, forgotten town, there was a young man named Daniel. Life had never been kind to him, though he had never asked for much. His childhood was marked by struggle, his father's absence leaving him with only half the guidance he needed, and his mother working tirelessly to make ends meet. Daniel often wandered the streets after school, his shoes worn, his stomach empty, and his heart heavy with the weight of growing up too quickly. While other children dreamed of adventure and success, Daniel's dreams were clouded by survival. He knew hunger, failure, and disappointment intimately, and he began to believe that life would never offer him a chance. As he grew older, Daniel fell in with a group of friends who shared his frustrations and bitterness. They laughed at authority, broke rules without thinking, and sought momentary escapes in risky choices. Daniel's life became a series of reckless decisions, each one pushing him further from the world he secretly longed to be part of. By the time he reached his early 20s, he was trapped in a cycle he could not escape. Nights blurred into days of drinking, fleeting jobs, and fleeting friendships. Each morning he woke with a sense of regret heavier than the last, but he had grown numb to it. He thought this was all life had to offer, that his story was destined to be one of waste and sorrow. One cold night, after a fight at a bar, Daniel found himself running through empty streets with sirens echoing behind him. In the panic of fear and adrenaline, he stumbled and fell, scraping his hands and knees. He looked up at the sky, and for the first time in years, he felt a strange stillness. It was as if the universe had paused for him, forcing him to confront something he had been avoiding for far too long. The pain in his hands and the pounding in his heart became a mirror, reflecting the damage he had inflicted upon himself. He realized that if he continued down this path, there would be no tomorrow worth living for. That night, alone in his small, cold apartment, Daniel cried for the first time in years. He cried for his wasted youth, for the bridges he had burned, for the dreams he had abandoned. And amidst the tears, a thought emerged. Maybe it wasn't too late. Maybe life still had something to offer if he could find the courage to change. The next morning, Daniel woke up with a resolve he had never felt before. He walked past the streets he had once run from, past the bars and empty lots, and looked at the faces of people hurrying to work, unaware of the silent battles being fought around them. He wanted to be different. He wanted to be someone who could look at life and not feel defeated. Daniel's first steps were small. He applied for odd jobs, waking up earlier than ever to meet the world with discipline. He stopped seeking solace in friends who encouraged his destructive habits. Instead, he sought knowledge, borrowing books from the local library about people who had faced hardship and risen from it. At first, it was painful. His mind resisted. Old habits tugged at him like shadows he could not shake. There were nights when he felt the urge to give up, to return to what was comfortable, even if it was poisonous. But he reminded himself of the stillness he had felt that cold night, of the spark that had told him he could be more than he was. One afternoon, Daniel met an old man at a community center who noticed him sitting quietly in the corner reading. The man, with a weathered face and kind eyes, approached and asked why he seemed so serious. Daniel, hesitant at first, shared pieces of his story, his mistakes, his regrets, his desire to change. The old man smiled and said something that would stay with Daniel for the rest of his life. Life does not care about your past. It only asks if you are willing to try again. Every day is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Those words ignited something in Daniel. He realized that redemption was not a gift, it was a choice, and he was ready to choose it. Over the next months, Daniel committed himself fully to transformation. He practiced discipline in everything he did. He learned new skills, worked long hours, and faced the discomfort of growing pains that came with real change. He started volunteering at the community center, helping troubled youth who reminded him of his younger self. Teaching them, guiding them, and showing them the possibilities he had once overlooked became a mirror that reflected his own growth. The more he gave, the more he realized that life's greatest rewards were not material. They were the moments where you could make a difference, where your actions mattered beyond yourself. Daniel faced countless obstacles. There were days when he failed miserably at work, when friends mocked his transformation, when old temptations beckoned him like a siren, calling him back to destruction. Each time, he had to dig deeper to find strength he didn't know existed. He journaled his thoughts, meditated, and visualized the man he wanted to become. Slowly, brick by brick, the foundation of his new life took shape. He began to notice subtle changes, a sense of peace he had never known, clarity in decisions that once felt impossible, and respect from people who saw him not as a troubled man, but someone committed to growth. Years passed, and Daniel's life transformed in ways he had never imagined. He became a mentor to young people who were struggling with choices similar to the ones he had made. He built a career he was proud of, founded programs to help others find their potential, and repaired the relationships he had once destroyed. But more importantly, he became the person he had always hoped to be. Someone who faced life head-on, learned from mistakes, and used every challenge as fuel for growth. One evening, as Daniel walked through the park where he had once sat alone, he noticed a group of teenagers laughing and arguing over trivial matters. He remembered himself at that age, lost and desperate. He approached and shared a story of his past, his failures, and the transformation that followed. The teens listened intently, some skeptical, others inspired. Daniel's voice carried not just words, but the weight of experience and the promise that life could indeed change if you dared to try. Daniel often reflected on his journey. He understood that life's difficulties were not punishments, but lessons wrapped in challenge. He realized that hidden potential exists in everyone, no matter how broken or lost they feel. The measure of a person is not in their mistakes, but in their response to them. He had once believed that time had run out for him, that youth lost could never be recovered. Yet he had discovered that courage, effort, and persistence could unlock doors that seemed permanently closed. Now, in the quiet moments before sleep, Daniel would sometimes think of his younger self and smile. He knew that the struggles, the nights of despair, and the mistakes had been essential. Without them, he would not have learned patience, empathy, and resilience. Without the darkness, he would not have understood the light. And he carried that understanding forward, not just for himself, but for anyone willing to listen, to believe, and to act. Daniel's story reminds us all that potential is not a matter of age, opportunity, or circumstance. It is a matter of choice. Every day, every decision, and every effort matters. You may stumble, fall, and lose your way, but the possibility to rise again is always within reach. The journey is not easy, but it is possible. Life will throw obstacles, failures, and heartbreaks your way, but each is a chance to learn, to grow, and to become the person you were meant to be. So ask yourself today, what have you abandoned in doubt? What dreams are waiting quietly for you to reclaim them? What potential lies hidden behind fear, procrastination, or disbelief? Remember, it is never too late to begin again. Every step toward growth, no matter how small, carries the power to transform your life. Your past does not define you. Your mistakes are not the end. Your life can be a story of redemption, courage, and purpose, if only you choose to write it that way. In this story, we learn that take action today, believe in your hidden potential, embrace your growth, and share your light with the world. Transformation begins not with grand gestures, but with the courage to try, to stand, and to persist. And when you do, you will discover a life far richer than any you could have imagined, a life filled with meaning, hope, and the power to inspire others. If this story inspired you, subscribe to Wisdom Life for more life-changing lessons. And don't forget to like, comment, and share the video.